So this is my family tree, starting from my grandfather's father, which is my great-grandfather. He came from China and migrated to Malaysia when he was a teenager because his family needed to find better income and living. He grew up in Province Wellesley, which is now known as Seberang Perai. In my great-grandfather's family, they practiced this culture where they saved a lot of money and they believed in working hard. In return, they were very financially stable. When my great-grandfather grew up, he became a scholar, and after that he became a teacher, and eventually he became the headmaster of the Methodist school in Bang Tebal. He also managed to open his very own sundry shop business in Province Wellesley. As the sundry shop business went very well, he managed to buy his own car, which was a Morris Minor, and was one of the first few in town to do so. After my great-grandfather got married, he had 3 children, and which my grandfather was the youngest. According to my grandmother, he always advised his children to save up, work hard, and spend wisely. He would consistently eat porridge with salted olives for only 60 cents back then. My father died from tuberculosis in about 1980 when he was 90 years old. My grandfather took on his money-saving culture and became a teacher later on. My grandmother's mother, which was my great-grandmother, was a scholar as well. She studied in the same school as my great-grandfather, which was the Methodist school in Bang Tebal. Mixed Teochew with Baba Nyanya. She was a housewife, as back then most of the females never worked. She became a single mother when her husband died at an early age, leaving her to raise her kids independently. My great-grandmother was good at making kueh, and she would sell them every day, get some income. She taught her children to be independent as well, like cooking and preparing meals for the family, which my grandmother learned quick. My grandmother also learned how to sew on her own. She sewed her own school uniforms, and there was one time she was required to sew a wedding clothing for her brother-in-law. My grandmother was born during the Japanese War days and couldn't walk until she was about 3 years old due to malnutrition. The women's fashion in the Baba Nyanya culture was banher, kebaya, kerongsang, a scarf, and a pair of sandals. My grandmother had 5 siblings, including her was 6. And currently she's the last one left. In those days, all the females were required to fend for themselves by learning how to do useful housework like cooking. My grandmother was brilliant at cooking, and she cooks the best food even to this day. My great-grandmother never practiced any specific religion, but she passed down a culture of being independent. She taught her children to never complain and always be thankful for the food provided on the table. My grandmother had 4 children, which my mother was the eldest. My mother used to be an accountant and an artist. She painted and she sold her paintings, but she doesn't do that now. And my dad, he is a QS. When I was 15, me and my sister were diagnosed with a similar heart condition, which was actually said to be passed down genetically. However, my condition was slightly more serious than my sister, so I had to go for a heart surgery. In 10 years, I hope to see myself being a successful interior designer or architect, living happily with my future family. Most importantly, I hope to keep my future children healthy, as I'm aware that the heart condition will be passed down.